How does the frequency of eating and the amount eaten at a meal differ in species that eat other animals versus those that eat plants? What does this say about what type of diet humans were designed for?
Sure. Well, meat eaters are intermittent feeders. Again, hunting is inherently inefficient, and they typically in the wild will make a kill once every 7 to 10 days. So they eat today and they may not eat again for a week or more. And that parenthetically is one of the reasons why pet animals are so prone to getting fat, because we feed them every day. They wouldn't be eating like this if they were living in the wild. And so they just start accumulating all this fat. Again, the herbivores, it's totally different. The herbivores eat multiple times every day because they are batch feeders. They'll eat a meal, takes several hours to process that meal, then they go back and eat another meal. And so they have to eat at least 2 to 3 times every single day just to get enough calories to last that day. And that's because their stomachs are much smaller, because they're designed to process a batch of food, as opposed to these giant stomachs that the carnivores have that allow them to eat enough calories to last them, a week or two.
How does eating plant foods turn off cancer-causing genes and turn on protective genes, and then pass these effects onto your children and grandchildren?
That's through the process of what's called epigenetics. We know that plant foods modify what are called histone proteins that wrap the DNA and protect the DNA in our chromosomes. And so when you eat a diet that's high in plant foods, you get what are called these acetyl and methyl groups that are attached to these histone proteins, and that then makes it more likely that the cancer-causing genes are turned off and the tumor suppressor genes are turned on. So it's really important to understand that the food that we eat literally interacts with, talks to, and programs our DNA. But what's really amazing about that is that we know that those effects can be passed down through 3 and maybe as many as 4 generations in humans. It's been documented that what are called epigenetic effects have been shown to be transferred from parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents down to their offspring. So it's critically important how we eat, because that's going to affect our progeny.
Do you feel weak and tired if you eat a 100% whole food plant-based diet?
Professional athletes are switching to plant-based diets because they're finding that, contrary to feeling weak and tired, they are stronger, more robust, they have greater energy, greater stamina, and they recover from exercise and competition much quicker and more efficiently. That's what the film Game Changers is all about, and that's what it shows. And what's interesting is I had the pleasure of meeting ex-Tennessee Titan Derek Morgan and his wife Charity, and who were instrumental in getting as many as 15 of Derek's teammates to become vegan. And what was so profound about that was that Derek started changing to a plant-based diet in his 30s because he wanted to extend his career, and he found that by becoming, as he became more and more plant-based, his performance improved and his recovery time decreased, to the point that he decided to become completely vegan. And then his wife, who was a chef, she decided for health reasons to follow suit. And then she started preparing all of his meals. When his teammates saw how well he was performing on the field, they said, "Hey man, can she provide food for us?" And the upshot of that is that the Titans hadn't been in the playoffs for, I can't remember exactly how many years, but we know that this year they made it to the AFC title game, And that may have been the first time in the franchise history, and they did it by going vegan. And there are a number of NBA players who have become vegan, again, because of the performance enhancing abilities of a plant-based diet. Novak Djokovic is very vocal about his being vegan and how it's helped him perform and remain in top peak condition and remain a top competitor in the tennis world. And I always tell people, look at Western civilization. We didn't hitch our wagons and stagecoaches and plows to lion, tigers, and bears. We hitched them to horses and oxen and steers because only they had the strength, energy, and stamina to do the work that needed to get done.
How is diet connected to depression? What foods create more of it and which prevent against it?
Sure. There's now abundant research that shows that plant-based diets decrease the risk and prevalence of depression, anxiety, and other mood behavior disorders. And a part of this is mediated through the fact that the gut talks directly to the brain, that part of what the microbiome does is it manufactures neurotransmitters, which then travel directly to the brain and influence brain chemistry. But even more importantly, we now know that when there isn't enough fiber in the diet, that the toxins that get released from the colon can actually travel through the bloodstream and damage the brain and actually change neural architecture such that it inhibits the action of the cells that actually make myelin in the central nervous system, so that your brain just doesn't work as well or as efficiently. So what you eat in terms of fiber has a direct impact on how well your brain is working and on decreasing the toxin load that could be affecting how your brain is working.
How are human bodies built to make them ideal for foraging for plants?
That's because we are the most efficient walkers on the planet. Foraging for plant foods is an activity that requires covering a lot of ground at a low energy cost, and that means walking. Well, humans are the most efficient walkers of any animal. When we walk, we expend a significantly lower amount of energy than would be predicted for an animal our size, and that has to do with the way our bodies are built and the fact that because of our upright stance, every time we take a step, our center of mass actually falls outside of our body, so that part of the work of moving us forward is done not by muscle activity but by gravity. And we really just throw our legs out to keep ourselves from falling, and we vault over that leg and we keep doing that. So we're actually falling forward. But that's also why any interruption in that finely tuned process makes us look so goofy and we almost fall on our face, because it's a finely tuned ballet that has to be done in a precise fashion.
Can you sum up everything we've talked about here today in 15 seconds?
Gosh. We are absolutely designed to be plant eaters, and we are healthiest, we live the longest, and we are happiest when we are plant-based. And we need to get back to our true diet, and that's a plant-based diet. Be better for us, better for the world, and certainly better for the other animals we share this planet with.
What's the one thing I need to do today?
Eat a high-fiber, plant-based diet that is comprised of a variety of foods and colors. It's pretty to look at, and it'll be beautiful inside your body.
What was it about the Real Truth About Health conference that made you want to come here and speak?
The fact that the range of speakers was so complete, the list of topics was so thorough, and that it was free to the public. That's the thing that just stunned me, that the organizers of this event provided such an incredibly high quality conference with essentially almost all of the major speakers in the plant-based health movement to the public for free. It is just phenomenal. As I told the audience at the beginning of my talk, if people were going to have to pay for the lineup that they assembled here, this would be a $10,000 conference, easily.
For people that want to learn more about your work, where should they go?
They can go to my website. It is drmiltonmillsplantbasednation.com. Again, drmiltonmillsplantbasednation.com. And there are links there to my videos and things that I've written. And they can find a lot of my videos on YouTube. And keep your eyes open for a book that I'm working on. If I can ever find enough time away from work where I can focus on writing, I'll get it done.